Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Sammy Ketchum, and welcome back to Sammy Ketchum TCG. Tonight, we are going to be taking a look at our first Scarlet and Violet deck profile. That's right, we are going to be talking about Single Strike Lugia V-Star. That's right, Single Strike Lugia V-Star. Alright. This deck isn't your normal Single Strike Lugia deck. And I mean, it's far beyond normal, I should say. But this is a Scarlet and Violet deck profile, but this deck has no Scarlet and Violet cards in it. That's funny. It's a Scarlet and Violet deck, but it has no Scarlet and Violet deck profile. I mean, it has no Scarlet and Violet cards in it. The reason why is because Scarlet and Violet is the start of a new rotation. And since there are cards that are rotated out, we have basically made this deck and fitted this deck to fit the rotation. And since Scarlet and Violet starts the rotation, you know, we've got to make new things. So this deck now has a brand new life that it's going to live on for the foreseeable future. So this is Single Strike Lugia, but it really is different than any Single Strike deck. Over in Japan, they are already playing with Scarlet and Violet cards. They've already started testing the meta, playing in tournaments, and Single Strike Lugia is one of the things that they're playing. But they are playing it with Tyranitar V, which honestly I think is a very, very, very bad idea. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't like it at all. And the reason why I don't like it at all is because Tyranitar V has its second attack where it does 240 damage. But the stipulation is that you have to discard the top 4 cards off of your deck, which is really, really bad. The attack is great. Discarding the top 4 cards off your deck is bad. That's like sweeping your opponent's leg and also sweeping yours in the process. So you're both falling down. You can't sweep your leg and their leg at the same time. That's counterproductive. When you want to sweep the leg, when you want to have no mercy, you want to do it while you're on top. You know what I'm saying? You got to have the advantage. You got to be the one to strike first. Okay? So, but we have some spicy single strike Pokemon in here, you know, that is very different from Japan's. That's very different from what everybody's been seeing. But I'm going to bring back one of my favorite Pokemon, one of my favorite single strike Pokemon, and you're going to know right away what it is when we do it. Honestly, let's just go ahead and jump into this deck profile. I'll show you what it is while we're doing it. Let's get into it. Alright. We have ourselves 2 copies of Lugia V-Star. We've all seen this card. We've all had, you know, our regional tournaments where we've played and seen this card top and win tournaments. We know what this card does. 280 HP. Has the attack. Tipped is dive. Alright. 4 colorless energies. 220 damage. And you may discard a stadium card in play. Alright. And it's is it Star? Oh yeah. And its ability, Summoning Star. Alright. You only get this once a game. Alright. You can look in your discard pile, get up to 2 normal type Pokemon, and you can summon them to your bench. Alright? You can summon them to your bench. Alright? So two normal type Pokemon from your discard pile, summon them to your bench. That is pretty powerful. I mean, it's really broken. But that's about it. But why is that so powerful? Well, before we get to that, let's jump into the Lugia Vs. Alright. 220 HP. Its first attack, Reading the Wind, or Read the Wind. Discard a card, draw 3 cards. Actually, this attack is actually very good, and I've used it many times. I used it many times. You can discard an Arceus with that, or discard any card and draw 3 cards. It's actually really decent when you're kind of like on the back foot, but it's very useful. Second attack, you're really not going to use that much. What is it? Arrow Dive, I think. Arrow Dive, I think it does 130, and you also discard a Stadium. I really haven't had to use that attack that much, but it's there. Alright. These are the normal Pokemon that are going to be summoned with Lugia V-Star. So you summon 2 Arceus. This is a Stage 2 Pokemon. So you're bringing a Stage 2 Pokemon straight from the discard pile onto your bench. And the reason why you want to do this is because Arceus has an ability that says you can search your deck for a special energy card and attach it to one of your Pokemon. Now I see two special energy cards and attach them to one of your Pokemon. Any way you like. And shuffle your deck. So you search your deck for special energy cards and attach them. You have 2 on the bench, you can search for 4. You search for 4 special energy cards, you can power up Lugia V-Star, and Lugia V-Star can attack with Tempest Dive. That is busted. Okay? This has won many regional championships, you know, with this deck. Maybe it won a national championship? I'm not sure. Oh yeah, Toward Reclave. Oh yeah. What was that? Was that EUIC? I don't think, no, it wasn't NEIC. It might have been EUIC. It's one of the international tournaments that Toward Reclave won with this card. You know, and it's still winning regional tournaments as we speak. So now here comes a single strike package. All right, we got 2 Stone Joiners, single strike Stone Joiner. All right, this is really good for hitting for weakness. I've got 2 in here that basically you want to hit those Miraidon decks, all those electric decks that are going to get powerful in Scarlet and Violet. This is going to take care of them. Alright. 130 HP. First attack is Land Pulse. It does, if there's a Stadium card in play, you do 30 more damage. So that's 60. But you're really not going to use that attack. The second attack, what's the second attack called? Oh, Giga Hammer. For 2 fighting and a colorless, it does 120 damage, but he can't use that attack next turn. Alright? Now, what's interesting about this is that for the energies, you want to use single strike energies. Alright? With the single strike energies, they count as fighting and dark type. They count as fighting and dark. Since they count as fighting energies, you can use them to fuel the attack. Single strike energies do 20 more damage to your opponent. So 120 turns to 140, turns to 160, 180, what have you. You stick a choice belt on there, and now you're hitting 210, 220, whatever, with the choice belt against V's, which is very, very good. So yeah, this can rack up pretty decently with the single strike energies. Fight hard, strike hard. Now, this is the special part of the deck. Instead of Tyranitar V's, we have ourselves 3 copies of Seviper. Single strike Seviper. Alright? I've brought back Cobra Kai. That's right. I'm bringing back Cobra Kai, baby. Seviper is one of my favorite single strike Pokemon, and I'm bringing him back. Alright? Seviper is a little guy, has 110 HP. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. He's gonna kick you in the face. He's gonna kick you in the face with this strong tail. Alright? Strong tail. Alright? 2 darkness and a colorless. It does 90 damage. Now 90 damage is not a lot. But if you have played a single strike supporter for the turn, then this attack does 90 more damage. Well, now that's pretty powerful. 90 more damage, that's what, 180, right? So that's not too bad, but you're still not hitting V Pokemon. Okay, so, but you've got the single strike energies. Like I said before, the single strike energies, they are fighting and they're also dark. So they count as both. So you can also use the single strike energies to fuel Seviper's attack. Okay. You play a single strike supporter, 180. 180 plus the 20 you do for the single strike energies. 180, that's 210, 230, 250 if you have 3 on it. You add a choice belt, 60, 70, 280. Now you're really hitting high damage numbers with just a single little one prizer. All because you played a single strike supporter. Freaking busted. Freaking busted. It's insane. And it's better than T-Tar. This is literally better than T-Tar. Because you don't have to discard cards from your own deck. All you have to do is play a single strike supporter and you sweep the leg with the strong tail. It's brilliant. It's freaking brilliant. And I don't know why. Well, nobody's really looked at it because I guess I'm the single strike master here, so I would know. But but they're sleeping on this. They're sleeping on this. Now, one thing that can help you find supporters is Luminion. Playing from your hand, and you search your deck for a supporter, and you add it to your hand, shuffle your deck afterwards. So you add a supporter to your hand. This could be Boss's Orders, this could be Serena. And, find your single strike supporter with this. Brilliant, right? Have a copy, 1 copy of Dunsparce. You have to protect your Lugia. They're going to go for that 2 prizes every single time. And you got to have a way to protect your Lugia. Hi, Louie. She's back there chilling. Got to protect you, right? 1 copy of Pumpkaboo, because you want to bump stadiums. You know, you want to bump that path to the peak when it comes into play. All right. Now, on to the supporters. The single strike supporter of choice, 4 copies of Bruno. 4 copies of Bruno. This card is absolutely busted. All right. Since most of my single strike, well, all of my single strike Pokemon are 1 prizers, they're going to die easily. We don't care if they die easily. We're going to come back. We're going to clap back hard with the Bruno. Bruno says, okay, shuffle your hand into your deck and draw 4 cards. All right, okay, whatever. But if your Pokemon got knocked out the last turn, which they pretty much will because they're 1 prizers, they're going to get knocked out. You draw 7 cards. If your Pokemon were knocked out the turn before, now you draw 7 cards. So now this is just as good as a research, because you get to draw 7 right after your other Pokemon just kicked the bucket. So now your draw 4 turns into a draw 7, and you're drawing more cards. You're drawing more cards. You're getting the pieces you need to fuel your attacks. You're getting your Pokemon, you're getting your things in the discard pile, whatever, etc., etc. You're accelerating your game, which is busted. So a potential draw 7, very, very good. Not only do you get to draw 7, you're now also fueling Seviper's attack. So now you're hitting for 180, drawing 7, potentially hitting for more with the single strike energies, and you're clapping those V-stars, and whatever else you're playing against. Bloody brilliant. 2 copies of Professor's Research. Just 2 copies. Because, I mean, we already have a draw 7 in the deck, a potential draw 7 in the deck. We just really need 2 copies of this just to discard and draw 7. I really don't like discarding my resources at all. But 2 copies of this I think is really good. You know, especially early when you want to discard your Arceus. In this deck. In my Lugia deck, my current Lugia deck, I have no researchers in that deck. Because I just do not want to discard my resources. But that's just me. That's just me. You know, but in this deck needs to discard because we had to get rid of Quick Ball in the Scarlet and Violet meta. And we need another way to discard our Pokemon or stuff that we have to discard. So 2 copies of research. Speaking of discarding, 1 copy of Professor Burnett. You basically literally search your deck for 2 cards and put them into the discard pile. So you can literally go to your deck, search your deck for 2 Archeops, put them into the discard pile straight away, and then go off with Summoning Star Lugia, and you go off. Actually, that's 2 cards with celebrations? That's pretty cool. Alright. 2 copies of Serena. Serena is also very good for discarding your cards, discarding your Archeops, because its first part lets you discard up to 3 cards from your hand and draw up to 5 cards. Alright, that's very good. It also has the second effect of being like a boss's orders, where you can switch out your opponent's active Pokemon with one of their Pokemon on the bench, which is very good. So, but having that extra discard option is very good. Speaking of boss's orders, we have 2 copies of boss's orders. So more sweep the leg action. All right. All right. 4 copies of Great Ball, because Evolution Incense is gone in the Scarlet and Violet meta, so we have to find some way of finding our basics and our evolutions in the deck. And Great Ball is actually a very great addition to this deck. Look at the top 7 cards and search for a Pokemon, add it to your hand, and shuffle your deck afterwards. Alright? So this is very, very good. Four copies of Ultra Ball. We still have Ultra Ball, and it's basically one of the main ways we're going to be discarding Arceus. Alright? Discard 2 cards from your hand, 2 Arceus. Search your deck for any Pokemon, any one Pokemon, add it to your hand, and shuffle your deck afterwards. Very good. Two copies of Nest Ball. Alright. Search your deck for a basic Pokemon and put it on your bench. Shuffle your deck afterwards. Nest Ball is back. This basically will be replacing Quick Ball. We really only have 2 in this deck because this deck really doesn't place Pokemon on the bench, or basic Pokemon on the bench like that. Almost all of the Pokemon that go on the bench can be placed by placing them from the hand. You know, they're one prizers, they're little itty bitty Pokemon, but they all work together. So it's not like any other deck where you want to play like 4 of these, you know, or like Battle VIP Pass. So 2 is fine for this deck. Three copies of Urn of Vitality. Alright. This will let you get back your single strike energies from the discard pile. So now, not only are you playing with the single strike package, with the single strike energies, your Pokemon get knocked out, you can get the single strike energies back, put them back into the deck, and then the Arceus can search them right back out and attach them right back to your Pokemon, and you can keep doing it over and over again, at least up to 3 more times. So you have energy recovery, you have energy acceleration, and you have little itty bitty Pokemon that can sweep the leg right out from under the competition. Very good. 2 copies of Choice Belt. I was thinking about also adding the little Choice Bracelet that comes out in Scarlet and Violet. But I like Choice Belt better right now, especially at the beginning of the Scarlet and Violet meta, because mostly all of the decks are still going to be V and V-Star decks. Most of them. Basically from what I've seen, the only Scarlet and Violet really cards that are really being played are Miraidon and Gardevoir. Miraidon and Gardevoir are the biggest cards from the set that are being played. Everything else is V, V-Star, V-Max. So, with that in mind, these Choice Belts are still going to be good against mostly everything you play against. Two copies of the Tower of Darkness. Discard a single strike card from your hand and draw 2 cards. This lets you draw even more cards. It's very, very good. Consistency, and you get to bump a stadium. Very good. On to the energy. For single strike energy, alright, This is a fighting and a darkness energy combined. Also, you add 20 damage to your single strike Pokemon's attacks when you attack with this thing. Alright? It's very, very busted. And you can recover them from the discard pile with the Urn of Vitality, which is very busted. Like, what's not to love about this? Three, Impact Energy. Impact Energy is also a single strike energy. Alright? It provides every type of energy. So it's a rainbow energy. It's a rainbow energy for single strike Pokemon. But it can only be attached to single strike Pokemon, of course. Also, I think it prevents poison. Yeah. Yeah. It prevents poison. It prevents your Pokemon from being poisoned. And it also, when you attach it, you can also recover it from the poison when you attach it. Now there's not a lot of poison decks out there, so this won't really come up too much. But there's one deck in particular, hint hint, Wheezing. Any Wheezing deck, well, actually, never mind. Wheezing rotates. Never mind. 3 copies of Double Turbo Energy. Alright, this will help you power up your Lugias. Help you to retreat your Lugias. You know, attack with them, power them up, what have you. Three copies of Gift Energy. We have to use things like Gift Energy now because all of the other special energies that Lugia was using before are now gone because of rotation. Rotation happens with Scarlet and Violet, so we had to use Gift Energy. Gift Energy isn't bad because if your Pokemon gets knocked out with Gift Energy on it, you get to draw up to 7 cards. If you have a low hand size, if you need cards in your hand, this could help you get cards back into your hand. If they sit there and they judge you or they Roxanne you that turn and you have the Gift Energy, this will basically counteract the judge or the Roxanne that they played for the turn. Because they knock you out, you're going to draw up to 7 cards. You're going to get your hand back. Very good. Last but not least, 2 copies of Vguard Energy. Alright. This reduces 30 damage from V Pokemon. So any V Pokemon attacking your Pokemon or your Lugia, you take 30 less damage. So that is very good. And the format will still have V Pokemon in it. Even though we're transitioning into an EX era, V Pokemon will still be pretty good, still be prevalent. They're not going away just yet. So this is still very good. Alright guys, that is the deck. When we come back, we are going to be doing the layout and showing you what it looks like, you know, all laid out and stuff. Alright. Alright guys, this is the layout. I've got it looking pretty fresh here. You can see everything. You can see the counts of the deck. Alright. But yeah, I really, really love how this deck came together. This deck will shock you. It is very, very good. I think Survivor is better than T-Tar. It's a one prizer and it doesn't give up 2 prizes. It also hits hard. You got the single strike energies, you got the single strike supporters to support it. I think I'm on to something here. You know, test it out, try it out for yourself. You know, I think this will be very, very good for the new format. Like I said before, this uses no cards from Scarlet and Violet. But this is purely, you know, this is purely a rotation deck, really. It's a rotation deck, but it's very, very good. I am very, very happy to say that I am going to be glad to be playing Single Strike once again in the new format. It just never goes away. It never goes away. Well, actually, it never dies because Cobra Kai never dies. Alright guys, that is the video. Like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, mischief managed.